So welcome everybody to today's webinar. We are going to discuss what is new in telephony. My name is Kurt Pontello and I will be your presenter for today's webinar. If you have any questions during the meeting, feel free to post them in the meeting chat section below and we will do our best to get to those by the end of the presentation. Please note today's webinar is going to be recorded like I said and we will be sending out the link after the call today. So a couple quick things I wanted to run through, just some housekeeping for us, go through the agenda. So we're going to talk about the shift in our industry from premise-based telephone systems to now those applications moving to the cloud. Some things within our industry and trends that we are seeing, but really for today, my sole focus is really to talk about use cases and how we enable people within your organization to work, right? So we're going to live the day in the life of a salesperson, a remote worker, managers, receptionists, supervisors, foremen. We're going to talk about integrations to your email platforms as well as integrations to your CRM systems. And then after this, I'm able to do a custom demo for any of you, and of course, we will send out the link to the webinar. So I guess the state of our industry, first place to start, right? According to a recent Gartner study, more than 70% of all IT leaders will not purchase a new premise-based unified communications infrastructure because future cloud unified communication offers will be far ahead in terms of features, functions, portals, analytics, and dashboards. Over the past 3 years, we have seen a dramatic shift in our industry. So if you haven't looked at a new phone system recently, then maybe you're not aware of all the new cool features that are available. And that's the whole reason for this webinar. I want to bring you up to date, kind of show you what's new in the world, and just kind of walk you through a day in the life of some folks within the organization. So the first people I want to talk about, people near and dear to my heart, right? I'm a salesperson, so I know this life very well, and also for our remote workers. Obviously, you guys know this is becoming a big thing with what's going on today, and how do people work from home. So we're going to talk about those things in a little bit more detail. So tools that these people need, right? The first one is they need mobile applications, right? So essentially, a mobile device can turn into a desk phone just like you're there in the office. Soft phones, right? The ability to have a client that works on your laptop, your computer, and essentially you can take that anywhere, right? Have a conversation with people just like you're there at the office, and you can do that from a laptop. The ability to have things be a web client, right? The days of downloading software and putting these things on computers has kind of gone by the wayside. Everything now lives in a web client. Obviously, audio conferencing, webinars, video conferencing are at the foremost of people's thoughts, and how do they do those meetings, and how do we still communicate with our customers necessarily if we can't see them, in person. Voicemail to email, not necessarily a new thing, but voicemail to email with transcription is pretty cool. So for instance, we'll show you the Google Analytics that come out of this and how you can see the transcriptions that come over to allow you to triage your voicemails, right? So if I know one that can wait a little bit, I'll call this other person back instead, those kind of things. And team messaging, right? The ability to collaborate with people within your organization has never become more and more prevalent, right? To be able to share documents, to collaborate on a particular client or a project that we're working on, or any of those kind of things. So we're going to kind of just dive right into this. I'm going to show you the interface and kind of the day in the life of how we live, and we'll kind of just take it from there. So as you can see here, I am just going to pop open my Google Chrome browser. I have this bookmarked for myself, but this is the Techmode Go hybrid cloud solution. And this right here is the interface that we use to interop within our organization. So for instance, you can see here that I have myself, I'm on a conference call. These two phones are having a conversation between these two users but I have the ability to, let's take Nikki for instance. I have the ability to click to call Nikki. I have the ability to send her a chat, right? I have the ability to have her join a web meeting, just like we all are doing today. Nikki is added to my favorites because I work with her all the time on different projects, and she's a project manager within our organization. So the ability for me to be able to talk to her quickly and efficiently is nice, and I have her right there. The other thing you'll notice here is I have 3 little icons, and if I right-click here, I have the ability to intercom over the phone to her. I can send her an email. I can leave her a voicemail. I can choose to call her mobile device as well. So a lot of things just out of this real simple interface here. The other thing you will notice is maybe you have multiple locations within your organization. So I need to be able to see what's going on at location 2. So I have some people here. I can see if they're available, not available. But maybe you want to group your people into sales departments. So we have our sales folks here. We also have service teams and those kind of things, and project managers. So you can group organizations or people in your organizations together at a quick access to them. Next piece here is your contacts. You can see that I have some contacts in here. We have the ability for company contacts, personal contacts. But the nice thing about this is if I go to click in here, I can import contacts. So some of you may be using O365, so there's the ability to import all of your contacts from there. Maybe you're using Google. You have the ability to import your contacts from there as well. So easy, able to do it right out of the box. The next thing I want to show you here is going to be chat. So chat is something that I use, well, a lot. As you can see that I have a ton of different chats that I have going on within the organization. But here's one for sales and support, right? I have a couple members to it that I've added. I have Lindsay and Mike and Jack, and you can see those people in here. But we are able to share information, right? So if I needed a document from Lindsay, she was able to send that to me. I can click to download it here. Now I can save it. I have it. The nice thing is this thread goes forever. So a lot of you guys talk to Mike on the phone, and you can kind of scroll through that. We have all of the history that me and Mike have ever had in a conversation, and it's here and it's stored for me. I can choose to archive this if I want to as well. So the next thing we'll have here is a call history. Pretty straightforward, right? All calls, incoming calls, missed calls. The one thing I really like about this, though, let's say I scroll down here and I find a telephone number, so this 734 number. I can click to call it right from here if I wanted to, but the other thing is I am going to be able to add this person to a contact. So I simply just click here, ask me to put in the contact information. If I have a picture of them, I can upload it in here, but you can see I can put their company name in, email, mobile number, business number, whatever I want to do. And I can choose to add them to my personal contacts, but I also have the ability to add these to the company directory and the company phone book. Just that simple to do something like that. The next thing I'm going to run through here is your voicemail. So for me, voicemail has always been a thing that, yes, I get them. I know I need to call and check them and do those kind of things. But now with voicemail to email has made the world just a great place, right? So I get an email that comes to me. It has a wave attachment of the file, so I can forward it to other people in my organization. So maybe somebody calls me as a salesperson, and I need to be able to send this over to our service department because they need service right away. I can take the email, I can forward it. They already know everything that's going on. They can listen to the message, but I also get the transcription with it as well. So as you can see, some people have called me, hey, Kurt, it's Ron. Can you give me a call when you get a chance, blah, 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 blah. And if there's telephone numbers in those links, I can click right here and call those out of there. But I can also download these files. I can play them on my computer, right? And I can just play it through my phone. It comes through my phone as well. I can choose to call them. I can delete it, whatever I want to do with it, and go from there. All right. The next one, and probably one of the most important ones, and then one of the new things that have been added and what's new in our industry is the ability to do conferencing, right? We've done conferencing for years, but it's audio conferencing, it's a webinar, maybe I pay for a GoToMeeting or I pay for a WebEx account. These things are now free and included as part of the user license, right? So I can schedule meetings whenever, whatever I want to do. So I'll just do one here for you real quick. Create a new conference. I can do an audio only. I can do a video one if I wanted to, so like I'm doing today, so we could actually enable a video if I wanted to. I could schedule it for now. I could do it for later. So if I grab a later time, go here, let's say I want to make it for the 26th. I want to make it for 12:30. Pick the duration time of my email, put a subject in here. We'll just call it test for this purposes. Any notes that I want to put in here. But you'll notice a few things have popped up for me. I have the ability to integrate this to my calendar. So if I use Google, I use O365, if I use Outlook, I can actually have this screen pop to my Outlook, right? It pulls up my Outlook, here's my calendar invite, and it sends it out that way. So there's a lot of easeability with that and to be able to do those things in here. And I simply go down here So I will pick, I don't know, let's just do, the basic 3CX one here. I can add my people that I want to, and then I just create my meeting. Really that simple. All right? So the other piece that you'll have here is your web meeting, so I can directly go into it. I won't because we're already in one right now. But that kind of gives you a quick high-level overview of that. So the next piece I wanted to go into is I wanted to show you guys the mobile application. So for me, doing a mobile app is one of the most important things that I do. So I'm just going to pull up my mobile phone here so you guys can see that I'm sharing my screen. And so you see that we have different applications. So here's the 3CX application. It allows me to take phone calls, receive phone calls, those kind of things. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my phone into sleep, and I'm going to have Lindsay call my phone so you guys can see what comes across when somebody dials my DID within the company. So you will see here that it is ringing. So the nice thing is you'll notice here it says Lindsay Hall, right? She's in my books, and then I have that I know it's a 3.6 audio, so I know it's a work call. So I simply slide over here to answer the call. I'm going to go ahead and throw this on mute. But then I just push here to the 3CX app, get my facial recognition done here. Now you see that I have so many things that I can do with this call. I have the ability to put this call on hold. I can transfer it to people within my organization. I can get access to my keypad. I can throw it on speaker. On my different environments, and I even have the ability for an attendant transfer, right? So that allows me to say, hey, I have Kurt on the call. Would you like to take his call or not? Those kind of things. You can see that I can choose to record it, add him to a conference, all of those kind of things. So I'm just going to go and hang that call up and walk you through the status bar here on the bottom. So I can see people's status within my organization if they're on the call, not on the call, those kind of things. I also have the ability here to have all of my contacts. You will notice that there's a little Apple icon next to all of these. And then if I have people within my organization that are on the 3CX application, for instance, let's just see if we can grab April. So I can go right down here. I can select April. And I see that I can call April from here. I can leave her a message. I can conference, intercom, or chatter, anything I'd want to do right out of this application, just like I'm there in the office. This is new. This stuff has been, there's been mobile apps, and I will tell you that they've been okay over the years. But they have really improved themselves over the last little bit. And, the fact that it does a push notification so I don't have to keep the app running in the background, all of those things have made it much simpler to work. If I wanted to 4-digit dial anybody or 3-digit dial anybody within the organization, so let's just say I wanted to call Lindsay, for instance, I click here, click call, Lindsay's receiving the phone call, it comes in, we're able to answer it, and we are now talking just like we are on a call, right? If I wanted to grab another line, I simply toggle over here, puts Lindsay on hold, I can go back to her, grab that call right back where I picked up. So a lot of flexibility with it. Super slick. I got to tell you, I absolutely love using this application. It makes my life a lot easier. All right, so that is the mobile app itself. Now the next piece, so that kind of covers our salespeople and the ability to work from home, but there's one other thing I wanted to share with you. As you notice, I have one more icon that popped up here. This is actually a Google Chrome plugin that works on my computer, right? So this is my desktop application. So if I wanted to call people out of this, I can do the same exact thing. You see that the look and feel is the same as all those other things that we have going on, but I have the ability to dial out of this, do what I want to, and answer those calls. But you'll also notice up here, I can change things, right? I can use a browser extension if I want. I can change it to my desk phone. There's different things within there that allow me to do it. So quite a cool bit of things that allow me to do different things with it. All right, the last thing I wanted to show you here was my availability. If I wanted to change my availability, I can simply set myself away that I'm in a meeting. You will now see my status has changed for something like that. So now you can see that Kurt is away, right? The nice thing is this actually reads what I have going on in my calendar, right? So it takes all that information from, like, for instance, my O365 account. It'll read that I'm in a meeting, and it'll automatically tell people that, hey, Kurt's in a meeting. He will not be able to join the call. Please leave a message, and he will return your call as soon as possible. Okay? So getting back to our presentation, I wanted to talk more now about our manager. So the managers need a different skill set. These folks need to be able to see some more things, right? So employee status is obviously important, but the ability for call recording, the ability for call accounting, right? The ability to see wallboards of what's going on in my business on a day in and day out basis. The ability for me to audio monitor people within my organization. So maybe I have a new hire and I want to see what they're doing. Of course, web chatting is a big thing. They can also monitor the queues in the phone system. So while we have a huge influx of people calling in, maybe I should log in and help them out kind of thing. So there's a lot of different things that you're able to do with that as well. Okay? So the next thing I wanted to show you guys is more of that manager view and some things that these managers are going to do. So if you look right here, this is going to be my switchboard. This kind of shows actively what's going on. So you can see here that I'm currently on a conference call, but I can see that these guys are on a call. And I can click right here on them, and I can choose to barge into that call. I can listen to these folks. I can whisper. And you see I have multiple people here that I can choose to do it, but I can park that call. I could stop the recording. I could record them if I wanted to. There's a lot more things in here that I can do. But I also have the ability for a wallboard. So wallboards have historically been something set aside for call centers. There's always been an extra cost to do these things and to put calls in queue and do those kind of things. So you can see here, this is the wallboard for our Techmode Go sales team. And you can see that we have had 23 answered calls. We've had 3 abandoned. 26 total, and the average wait time for our folks in queue is 5 seconds. So I guess to answer the question, if you call in and you press 2 for sales support, somebody's going to answer your call right away and quickly for it. So you can build as many of these out as you want. You can even take these and put them into a little tab, pull them out and put them on a different screen if you wanted to, but it gives you a lot of flexibility within that application to do so. All right. The other thing I want to get into now is more of the management side. As you see here, I just have another icon. I'm going to open up another window. And I want to talk about reports. So forever, call accounting has been a solution that has only been reserved for the people that want to pay the extra money for it. It's never been included before. With this application, it's going to allow these things to be included, and you get this with a normal user license, nothing special. It comes to those people that you want. So I wanted to go in and I wanted to run a report for us. So I simply go here and I add a report. If you notice, I have a lot of different options here from different reports that I can look at. So a call report kind of gives me a wide variety of things of what's going on for a particular person or a group of people and those kind of things. But there's also a lot of things great here in your queues to see, if people aren't getting answered or how long the queue's been taking, all of that kind of good stuff. So I'm just going to do the call report here. I'm going to call this just a test report for us. What email do I want this sent to? So I'm going to send it to myself, but know that you can add this to as many people as you want to send this out. So if there's a group of managers and they want to see a specific report every Monday morning, we can absolutely do that. So I can do one time now. I can do a daily report, first day of the week, weekly, every 2 weeks, first day of the month. You pick it, right? Whatever you want. So for this purpose, I'm just going to do one time now. I am going to do a range of the last 7 days, and now I can choose from who in the organization that I want to, or from a telephone number, or hey, this person called because they had a complaint, nobody was answering my phone call. You could actually look up that telephone number and see if they actually called into the system or not. So I'm just going to do it by an extension. I am going to do Mike because he has been nice enough to call all of our folks here for this webinar and get these people set up, and we're going to do it to anybody. Okay? But I can choose this more specific if I wanted to do something with it. I can do answered and unanswered, or I can do one of those individually. And then ringing and talking, or if I just want to do talking only, I have the choice of picking those. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to schedule my report. In just a second, I'm going to receive an email. And here's the email that I get. So here is your 3CX test report. Click here to download. I literally click the button here. And now I can see all of the information of what Mike has done over the last 7 days. So I can see that he made a phone call to a 231 number. It was answered. It was 15 seconds. He talked for 49 seconds, a total of 104. If you are a lawyer's office or a medical facility that bills for your time and your hours, there's even call costing in here that would allow you to bill back for those times so you could see what your cost would be for all of these things. But the other thing, then probably my favorite part, is there's a recording as well. So I simply click the recording button here. It's going to download the recording for me to listen to. And now this recording, it comes over in my WAV file. And you can see that I can play it right here by simply hitting the play button, and it's playing it. Okay? So it's just that simple to do one of those reports. And you can see here I can get a total look of Mike made 150 calls in the last 7 days. He talked for 4 hours. If I did the call costing on it, $205, whatever I want to do. Okay? The next thing I wanted to show you from a manager perspective, and this is probably more for the IT and the administrative staff of this, is how do we, well, people run into it all the time. Kurt, I forgot my password. I don't remember my login, or what's my login for the web portal, or what's this or that. So I click on the person's extension that I want to see. I go here, send a welcome email. Okay? So I'm going to click that here. In just a second, this is going to come into my email box. Here we go. And it's going to resend all of those credentials. And the nice thing about this is there's a quick reference guide in here. So if I have questions about how to do things, those are in there for me. I have my extension. I have my password. I have, how do you, what's the link to get to my interface? It's right here. What's my username? What's my password? It's all right here. But if you notice down here in the right-hand or left-hand corner, my favorite thing, okay? So historically, and what's new in telephony is really the ability to set up mobile applications. Typically, when you used to set up a mobile application, it would require a server IP address. It would require some authentications. It would require quite a few different things that we would have to program from a telephone system side in order for that application to work. Well, not anymore. The QR code is literally you download the app from either the Google Play or the App Store, and you scan, when you open it up, it says, hey, scan your QR code. You scan the QR code, everything is set for you. That's literally all you have to do. And I can't stress enough how much easier that's making people's lives and how quickly they are able to reset users' credentials and passwords and those kind of things. And if people have questions about the phone system, just click the link, right? Click the information. If you want to view this thing, how do I make phone calls, right? Quick reference guide. How do I use the app? All of that, okay? So a lot more things from a manager's perspective to be able to see that. And of course, I can add users, do those kind of things, manage extensions, but all of this is, once again, in a web interface, so there's no need for VPNs into this. There's no need for any other applications that you're going to have to run. Just go to the web page, log in. All right? The next piece I wanted to share with you, so we kind of talked through the manager, so hopefully that was clear for you so you understand kind of what we can see from a manager perspective. But now the next person is our receptionist, right? And as we know, some offices have receptionists, some don't. But if that person is a receptionist, they wear a lot of hats, right? These people are in charge of a lot of things, right? When I go meet customers, they are responsible for, taking calls, of course, but they're running all of the orders that are coming in and out of the business. They're doing quite a few different things. So they need to have a few things as well. So employee status, we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, that the employee status was a thing, right? So if they're managing multiple locations, they can see the statuses of those people. Auto attendants, so new things with auto attendants, they've always been able to have multiple auto attendants, like a day and a night, but now we can take it one step further, and we can actually give people the ability to set these by time of day, right? So our business is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Play this greeting. After 5 o'clock, we are going to turn our night message on. Thank you for calling ABC Company. We are currently closed, but if you would know your party's extension, dial it at any time. So we can set up as many auto attendants as you want. We can build them for holidays. All of those different kinds of greetings are available for you. Obviously, a web chat for receptionists is a very important thing. Hi, Kurt, I have Bob Smith on the phone. Do you want to talk to him? Well, no, I'm busy. Can you send him to my voicemail? No problem. They are able to do that. They can also monitor queues, right? So sometimes these people are in charge of overflow. So say we're super busy, the lines are ringing off the hook, and I need somebody to help me. Well, the next thing I'm going to be able to do is this person can log in, handle those things. But the last one, and probably the most important one for these people, is the ability for them to be mobile. This has always been a pain point from a telephony perspective, is how do we give people the ability to roam around the business and not just call cell phones and not just forward numbers? How do we actually allow them to do something with a phone call, right? So as we showed you earlier, the ability to transfer calls, the ability to put people on hold, do it attended transfers. Those kind of things are very, very important for these people because they may be running copies. They may be doing different things that they need to do within the office, and they're not always at their desk. So ability for those people has really been a big thing. The last person I want to talk about is the industrial supervisor, right? So maybe this is a shop manager, maybe this is a foreman out on a job site. We have found these people have always lived by their cell phone, right? Call me on my cell, this is how I'm going to live. Well, no more, right? So the concern is when you have people use cell phones is they leave, they take that work with them, right? Or people only know that number, so now they don't know how to even contact your organization. But if you can give them a mobile app on there, that allows them to do those things. But the other one, and we've definitely seen this a lot in the manufacturing industry, the ability to do video conferencing. So give you an example. I have a headquarters here in Detroit. I'm an auto manufacturer, and my facility is down in Mexico. And we are having an issue with this particular part, and it's just not coming out right. It's getting rejected by one of the big three, for instance, and it's not meeting specs or whatever the case may be. And I need to take this and show my people, my engineers, what's going on. So these people are using the mobile application, the web conferencing piece, and actually taking that phone and showing them, hey, this is the issue we're having on the production line. How do we fix it? The engineers are able to collaborate quickly together, get a fix for it, instead of saying, hey, send us pictures, we'll mow over this thing. You know what I mean? They can have that real-time communication with them, and I can't stress how important that is and how much of a cost saver that is for businesses not having to deal with sending parts back and forth and doing those things. Of course, we can support things like overhead paging. So maybe I have a facility that has, speakers in the warehouse and those kind of things, and we want to reuse them. We can absolutely do that. Emergency notifications are becoming more and more prevalent as we get into, hey, there's a fire, so we can push different DTMF tones on the phone, allow different notifications to be sent to those folks. Okay? So the last thing I want to talk about here is going to be the integrations. So this has been a huge leap forward, and definitely what is new in telephony is out of the box, built-in integrations to some of the major softwares that all businesses use on a day in and day out basis. Okay? I bet you know somebody that uses Office 365, or you very well may use it as yourself as an organization. So with O365, I'm able to pull my contacts with it, but the thing I like about it the most is it has the ability to read my calendar. So I'm in a meeting, it's going to play the notification that I'm in a meeting based on what I set up and the rules that I put together for this. So the integration between those two products is seamless, and it's done for you. You don't have to have any manual intervention. It is done automatically. The other one we get into a lot is people want to integrate with their CRMs, right? So a couple CRMs that we have up here, so like Salesforce or Dynamics 365. But let's say, for instance, I have Salesforce. A phone call comes in. It rings my desk phone. It's also going to ring and pop up my Salesforce contact, right? So it's going to pop up and say, oh, hi, this is Mr. Smith calling. Hi, Mr. Smith, this is Kurt Pontello. How are you doing today? Are you calling about the widget that you ordered last week? Yes, no? Okay, yeah, great. Can I order some more of those? It already pops up that journal entry for them so they can see all of that information and can have that conversation with them. These things, yes, integrations to CRMs have been around, but built-in free CRMs are a new thing, right? And they're usually expensive if you wanted to do those kind of things. So eliminating those costs from this has been a big barrier for a lot of people. So we can click the call out of those things. We can create new contacts out of there. So there's just a lot of things with this that gives you a lot of flexibility. And let's say, for instance, you don't see your particular CRM up here. Not a problem. As long as it speaks REST API, which is just an industry term, if it has the ability to do that, we can write the integrations for those to allow you to integrate to your existing CRMs that you have. But having that knowledge, customer service is paramount in today's world, and the more custom touch that we can give to our customers is extremely important. So all of these things probably sound cool. You're probably thinking about, wow, we could use some of these things in our office. Man, we're way behind the times, or whatever the case may be. But it always comes down to, how do we cost justify it, right? How do we pay for these things? So as a salesperson in this industry, I have been tasked with that every single deal that I do, right? So things that we can eliminate, or costs that we can get rid of. So the first one is your telephone bill. So a lot of you may have POTS lines or PRIs or SIP trunking, and there's a cost associated with those. So with our Techmode Go flexible cloud solution, Techmode is actually the service provider. So we take over those telephone lines. We eliminate those costs from paying Comcast or AT&T or all of those folks for it, and all you need is internet at the end of the day. So we can eliminate the cost of the telephone bills. A lot of organizations that have multiple locations are using an MPLS network for voice traffic, to tie all the locations together, to tie the systems together so people can 4-digit dial and transfer between locations and do all of those things. Those things are no longer needed, and they can be eliminated. All you need is the public internet. You get to the internet, you can connect to us. A lot of people pay for audio conferencing, web conferencing, video conferencing. So maybe you use, I don't know, GoToMeeting, or you use WebEx, or you use one of those paid-for services. With our solution, it's built in. As we talked about earlier, scheduling the conferences and seeing those things, those costs are eliminated. So no reason for you to have to do that. Things with software upgrades and maintenance costs and hardware replacement, all of those things are gone. You are running literally on the latest version of software, and the software changes about every 2 to 3 weeks. So as a new software enablement comes out, those things are automatically added to your system, and you are always running the latest and greatest. So if there's a new feature that comes out, you're automatically going to get it, and you know what? You don't have to pay anything extra for it. Okay? The other thing is, and when we talk about cost justification, is enabling our employees, right? And how does this improve our business functions? I get asked that question every day. Kurt, how do I improve my employee productivities, right? So we talked about things with mobile applications and video conferencing and chat and all of those kind of things, and being able to see what people are doing on the phone and recording the calls and training and coaching them. All of those things are going to improve productivity of your workforce, right? And obviously, as everybody knows, with the scares that are going on and the initiative working from home, the ability for you to work from anywhere hasn't been more important, right? So once again, all you need is the internet to connect to these applications and the way you're working. Doesn't matter where your physical location is. And you can answer people just like you're there in the office. All right? So it's all about improving business processes and making things and improving your customer experiences. So this is what these kind of new things in telephony allow for you to do and to better satisfy your customer demands. So just a quick recap as far as what's new, right? We kind of talked about these things quite a bit, but as a quick reiteration for you, all-in-one interface. That is absolutely new in our industry. The ability to do chat in a single application, to do video conferencing in a single application, to see people and they're on the phone in a single application, the ability to do all of those things that we talked about is new, right? And the fact that it's web-based is absolutely new. Typically, we've had to run a thin or a thick client on a computer to get these applications. It's a web page now. Great world that we live in. Instant messaging and chat to individuals and groups. The group messaging piece is big. How do we collaborate with people, and that team messaging back and forth is very, very important. In voicemail to email transcription, we kind of talked about that. Built-in conference bridges, video, audio, and web, no cost for those, no hardware to replace. To give you an idea, right now we're running promos on desk phones for customers for $1 per month. So, and we even have free options for you. So the cost barrier to get into a solution like this, it's all on a monthly recurring cost. So those things that, hey, traditionally I've had to buy a phone system and it costs us $10, $15, $20, $100,000 for a phone system, they don't exist anymore. It's all on a monthly recurring cost. So a lot of flexibility for your organization, and to take advantage of these applications now instead of waiting until we have the capital to do so, right? Just a couple last things. Call recording, wall boards are included, mobile apps, the QR code. Once again, I can't stress how awesome that QR code is to make these applications work. With that, I wanted to thank everybody for their time today. We will be sending a link, as I said earlier, to this recording out to you. So if you want to share this with colleagues or friends or things that people you think that could use this, please feel free to do so. My contact information is below. I am free and available to do any kind of presentation that you would like me to do for your organization. I can do a custom one specifically built for you. Obviously, I went through a lot of information in a very short time today. So, feel free, reach out. We are happy to do these on an individual basis for you. We can bring phones out. We can demo all of this stuff on your site. Or if you want to do it remote, we can do it in another conference just like we did here today. But with that, thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate your time today, and have a great rest of the day.